like and subscribe. Divorce lawyers of Reddit, what is the most ridiculous reason your client filed divorce for? I had a client file for divorce because every morning his wife would ask him how he takes his coffee. For 7 years. He didn't know it'd help her put up a shower curtain. It may have been a straw that broke the camel's back situation though. Best reason, cops showed up to tell her that her husband is a violent child sex offender and she is now aiding and abetting BC. Her house is next to a school. My boss just got divorced. His wife was telling people one of the reasons was the amount of toilet paper he used. She was a super coupon clipper thrifty lady and would listen when he went to the bathroom to see if he was using too much TP. Sounds like he isn't getting a divorce, he's being released from hell. Hopefully soon to be former divorce attorney. I've seen tons of crazy reasons for people to get divorced. Some of them stupid, some of them make perfect sense. I had one person get divorced because her husband wouldn't take her out to the movies anymore. I had one client who looked through her husband's phone and found out he was hiring male escorts while he was on business trips. One female client got a divorce because she hated sex with her husband. Her last relationship before she got married was pretty intense, and I guess her husband just didn't match up. I've had a few clients who were teachers get divorced because their spouses found out they were having indecent relationships with students. All of the teachers were female. One divorce involved an elderly couple who had both recently been widowed. They had both been married to their individual spouses for over 40 years. They married each other out of loneliness. About 2 years into the marriage, they realized they made a huge mistake. They couldn't stand each other. It was weird seeing 80-year-olds complaining about the same thing you see kids arguing about. Not a divorce lawyer, but have done marriage therapy. Had a soldier stationed at Guantanamo Bay that met a local. Fell madly in love. They decided to get married, so she could come with him back in the States once his tour was done. She was working on American dishes, and was making spaghetti. He comes home from work one day, and she's making it. She puts the meat in, puts the canned sauce in, and then pulls an unlabeled bag out of the freezer, and adds it to the sauce. At this point in the session she's hysterically crying with broken Spanglish. She's trying to explain she didn't know any better. Through the hysteria he informs me her mother and grandmother told her if she wanted to keep her man, she needed to put her menstrual blood in his food. It was so hard to keep my composure. I was trying too hard not to gag. They both described they were madly in love, but he couldn't let it go. They ended up getting a divorce. Having done this for 14 years, I have found it 100% accurate that truth is stranger than fiction. He loved his pinball machine collection more than her. Also it turns out some pinball machines can be worth a load of money. My dad split my mom because she takes too long to tell a story. He was actually having affair $4,795,809,374 and that came out shortly after. But this was one of the main reasons he gave when they did a counseling session together. Divorce lawyer here. One client filed for divorce because he owed his bookie $70,000. He didn't want to leave his wife, but he figured he would get half the house in the divorce, which was worth $700,000, and pay his debts. He had already blew through their life savings gambling. He was the worst guy. My wife divorced me because I had her arrested for domestic assault. Sinchildka, so it was absolutely imperative that she controlled the narrative. Apparently I'm a liar, the cops are liars, the children are liars, the baby gate mashed itself over my back, the video of her doing these things are also lying. So divorced I got for hanging out with all these liars. Easy. She spent $42,000 on psychic hotlines. Notable, she then would not accept any of our offers, and I continuously asked her lawyer to provide counter-offers. Should not her psychic have told her how the case would turn out. Lol. My neighbor filed for divorce because he smacked his lips when he ate and slurped his coffee and soup. She thought if she didn't she would end up in jail for battery. I had two couples come to me. They had been friends for nigh on 15 years. Husband A decided he liked wife B more than wife A. Wife A decided she likes husband B more than husband A. The reverse was also true, and husband B preferred wife A, wife B preferred husband A. The couples had near identical assets in terms of value. They came to me all together, and I drafted 2 sets of paperwork. 2 default judgment hearings were set on the same day. The judge signed all the papers the same day. A week after that, they all went to a JP and remarried. The husband swapped houses and they all went about their lives exactly as they had the week before, but each slightly happier. Edit. No, this was not Roblo or a picture in the 1970s. I'm only 34. No, I have never read, seen, or heard of Marmalade Boy before today, but I will look for it to read next weekend. No, I probably don't live or work in your state. Not a divorce lawyer. One couple that I am close to were in the process of filing for divorce. Papers were served, and lawyers were involved. But the husband put down for one of his reasons why things were irreconcilable was because she would in his bathroom. I am sure not exactly in those words. Happy to say that they worked through that issue and are still together. So husband and I are planning on building a house. We're looking at layouts. His mother pipes up that the plan we want is no good as it only has one bathroom and she does not want to share when she comes to visit. Serious. She wanted her own bathroom in someone else's house and said it like 3 times. Newsflash. She ain't not coming to visit. I'm not a divorce lawyer, but this case appeared in one of my casebooks in law school. Beidou v Bloods Recu, http://www. Courts. State. Nye. us/reporter/3/2015/2015_25096. HTM. Basically a couple got married, but never lived together. Shortly after marriage the husband dropped off the face of the earth and the wife had no way of contacting him. She didn't know any of his family and apparently the place he told her he worked at never heard of him. He disconnected his cell phone and she even hired a private detective to try and locate him with no success. Finally she tried to file for divorce, for obvious reasons, but for service to be considered valid the defendant has to be physically handed service papers. Since she couldn't find out where he was she couldn't even get divorced from him. She had to sue in court, just to get permission from a judge, to allow service through Facebook, because that was literally the only means she had of contacting her husband. Not a divorce lawyer, but there's this famous case that all law students know about. The wife asked for annulment of marriage, because almost a year into the marriage, they still haven't had sex. The husband has been avoiding it for almost a year, and later on the court found out that he actually only has a 2-inch penis. I'm not a lawyer, but my brother is one who specializes in family law. He once had a case where the client was divorcing his wife because he was having an affair with his wife's mother. Edit. People keep asking me if the wife's name is Stacy. I have no idea. This case happened in the UK a few years ago I think. Edit to Electric Boogaloo. I'm stupid and don't understand humor. A friend of the family got divorced by her husband because she couldn't outperform him on the golf course. We all think he was cheating and just wanted an excuse, but she did say he would often yell at her in public while golfing and mock her for her attention to detail whatever that means in golf. He would also force the family to go golfing on most weekends, so it's hard to say if that was the real reason or not. She doesn't even like golf but was, and still is, afraid to tell him that. Not a lawyer, but one of the reasons my mom gave my dad on why they needed a divorce was that he bought expensive shampoo. My mother-in-law divorced my father-in-law so she could have a fresh start with her dream job of teaching blind children to read. Turns out, what she meant by that was, you are sent to destroy my father-in-law's pastor career by telling everyone he was abusive. You are since got married to the guy Shenard secretly been carrying on with. Heather's a convicted child sex offender. She has grandchildren. Shenard's in a state of complete denial. You've been visited by the ghost of a very important man. Pay your respects by liking and subscribing, and he'll grant you 3 weeks of good luck. 3 weeks of